Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of early series Jefferson Nickels as we explore the 5 most expensive and valuable United States 5-cent coins ever discovered. These rare treasures tell powerful stories of America's history, artistry, and minting craftsmanship, featuring standout dates, ultra-sharp strikes, elusive full steps examples, and extraordinary error varieties. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, this countdown will reveal what makes these Jefferson Nickels true legends in the hobby. Let's get started and uncover the coins that continue to captivate collectors and dominate the market. First up in the ultra-rare, high-grade 1941 Jefferson Nickel, often celebrated by collectors as a symbolic milestone specimen in the Jefferson series. Although not an official bicentennial issue, its place at the dawn of America's mid-century transformations and its connection to Thomas Jefferson's enduring legacy give it a form of historical bicentennial significance in the eyes of numismatists. This has led collectors to treat certain exceptional 1941 pieces, most notably ultra-high-grade strikes and dramatic error varieties, as elite rarities. Today, these top-tier examples are eagerly pursued for their remarkable preservation, striking definition, and the unusual circumstances surrounding their survival. As a result, premium specimens of the 1941 nickel remain highly desirable and command strong attention in auctions and private transactions. The 1941 Jefferson Nickel was minted during a period marked by international tension and shifting economic priorities, as the United States approached involvement in World War II. This year represents the final phase before the wartime alloy change of 1942 to 1945, making pre-war examples historically significant. Struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, 1941 nickels were produced in large quantities, yet only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition, particularly the sharply struck early die specimens that collectors now consider ultra-rare. The Monticello design by Felix Schlag, still relatively new at the time, symbolized Jefferson's architectural legacy and philosophical influence during a moment when the nation's democratic values were being tested globally. In this sense, the 1941 issue serves as a subtle but meaningful cultural artifact tied to both Jefferson's heritage and America's pre-war narrative. The 1941 Jefferson Nickel features Schlag's enduring obverse portrait of Thomas Jefferson, rendered with a classical, almost sculptural quality that collectors admire for its balance and depth. On the reverse, Monticello stands as the primary architectural focal point, its clean lines, neoclassical pillars, and symmetrical dome providing a harmonious composition. The coin was struck in a copper-nickel alloy, measuring 21.2 millimeters in diameter and weighing 5 grams. What distinguishes the most desirable 1941 examples are the quality of strike characteristics. Fully struck steps on Monticello, full steps designation. Sharp hair detail on Jefferson's portrait, and highly reflective or satin-like luster indicative of superior die preparation. Rare die varieties, such as the 1941 double die reverse or strongly rotated dies, further elevate a specimen's uniqueness, making these coins visually and technically exceptional in high grade. Although the 1941 nickel had a high mintage, true rarity arises from condition and die state survival. Coins with fully defined steps, minimal contact marks, and undisturbed mint frost are exceedingly uncommon. The most coveted examples are those certified MS-67, MS-68 with full steps, a level of preservation that few early series nickels achieve. Certain error varieties, such as dramatic die clashes, doubled dies, and high-grade off-center strikes, exist in very small populations and are considered elite collectibles. Because pre-war nickels circulated extensively, most examples show significant wear. Thus, any piece surviving in flawless or near-flawless condition is exceptionally scarce and commands enormous attention in the marketplace. Prices continue to trend upward as advanced collectors compete for the few surviving top-tier pieces, making the highest-graded 1941 nickels genuinely elite in the Jefferson series. Collectors seeking the most valuable 1941 Jefferson nickels should prioritize grading precision, luster quality, and strike sharpness, with special attention to the Monticello steps. Certification from PCGS or NGC is crucial for validating full step status and confirming authenticity of rare varieties. When searching raw coins, magnification is essential for detecting doubling, die clashes, or unusual strike attributes. Proper storage, such as archival flips, inert holders, or sealed slabs, is necessary to preserve luster and prevent nickel's tendency to tone or develop surface spots. Auctions, reputable dealers, and specialized Jefferson Nickel communities offer the best opportunities for acquiring top-grade examples, though patience is often required to locate rare full steps or premium error pieces. A deeper layer of intrigue surrounding the 1941 Jefferson Nickel lies in its fascinating die varieties, which have steadily gained recognition among advanced specialists. Several obverse and reverse doubled dies exist for this year, though many remain underappreciated by casual collectors due to their subtlety. For example, the 1941 doubled die reverse shows distinctive doubling on the lettering around Monticello and 5 cents, making high-grade examples of this variety extraordinarily rare. Even more elusive are certain minor hub doubling varieties that require precise magnification, but offer profound value to variety collectors who seek pieces reflecting the complex die production process of the early 1940s. These varieties, when certified and documented, often command premiums far greater than standard 1941 uncirculated coins, reinforcing the year's importance within the niche of Jefferson Nickel specialists. The three mints involved in 1941 nickel production, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each contributed differently to the rarity landscape of the series. Denver struck the most coins and is often associated with stronger overall strike quality, resulting in a comparatively higher number of potential full steps candidates. However, even Denver coins become extremely scarce in the highest grades. San Francisco, by contrast, is known for producing softer strikes, frequently seen with mushy steps, weak details in the dome of Monticello, and scattered planchet inconsistencies. These factors make 1941's full steps nickels some of the most challenging coins in the series to locate in elite condition. Philadelphia coins, while abundant in mintage, show wide variation in luster quality and die clarity, meaning only a small number achieve the crisp detail now sought by modern collectors. Understanding these mint-specific tendencies helps collectors refine their search strategies and appreciate the structural rarity of high-end specimens. The investment outlook for the finest examples of the 1941 Jefferson Nickel remains notably strong. Over the past 2 decades, full steps Jefferson Nickels, especially early-date issues, have appreciated significantly as registry set competition intensified and collectors increasingly prioritized strike quality alongside numerical grade. Coins certified at the MS67 Plus and MS68 full steps levels have consistently broken prior price records, illustrating sustained demand and shrinking supply. These coins are seldom seen in open auctions, often trading privately among seasoned collectors who understand their long-term potential. As the Jefferson Nickel series continues to evolve in scholarship and market attention, the 1941 issue is positioned to maintain, if not increase, its prestige. Its status as a pre-war relic combined with the scarcity of superbly struck pieces makes it an anchor date for those constructing top-tier sets. The 1941 Jefferson Nickel possesses an enduring cultural appeal rooted in its representation of American identity during a pivotal moment in history. Jefferson's portrait evokes themes of democracy, architecture, innovation, and philosophical depth, all qualities that collectors find deeply meaningful. Monticello, depicted with classical symmetry and dignity, stands as a timeless reminder of Jefferson's intellect and vision. For many collectors, owning a pristine or ultra-rare 1941 nickel is not merely a hobbyist pursuit, but a way of preserving a small, tangible piece of national heritage. This cultural connection elevates the coin beyond its material worth, reinforcing why it continues to captivate new generations of numismatists who value not only the artistry and rarity, but also the historical story embedded in its metal. The ultra-rare and most valuable forms of the 1941 Jefferson Nickel occupy a distinguished place in modern numismatics, celebrated for their historical relevance, aesthetic appeal, and scarcity in pristine condition. While not an official bicentennial issue, the coin's connection to Jefferson's legacy and the pre-war American landscape lends it a symbolic significance that collectors deeply appreciate. High-grade full steps examples and major era varieties remain especially prized, offering both beauty and strong investment potential. Next up in the 1964 Jefferson Nickel stands as one of the most fascinating and unexpectedly valuable issues in modern United States coinage, especially in its ultra-rare high-grade and special strike varieties. While hundreds of millions were minted, the coin's significance lies in the tiny fraction of surviving examples that display exceptional sharpness, superior surfaces, or rare die characteristics that elevate them far above the ordinary circulation strike. Collectors today consider the finest 1964 Jefferson Nickels a true cornerstone of advanced nickel collections, as these elusive high-end pieces have achieved remarkable prices at auction, often surprising even seasoned numismatists with their strong market performance and rising demand. The 1964 issue holds a distinct place in the Jefferson Nickel series because it was produced during a period of intense coin shortages across the United States. Public hoarding, silver price fluctuations, and heavy commercial demand pushed the mint to produce massive quantities of coins in 1964, continuing the date into 1965 despite the official year change. Struck exclusively at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the 1964 nickel symbolizes a chaotic chapter in U.S. monetary history when the mint dramatically increased output to stabilize daily commerce. Although the coin does not commemorate an event, its connection to a turbulent economic moment gives it historical depth that collectors find intriguing, especially considering how its enormous mintage paradoxically produced some of the rarest high-grade pieces of the series. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel is classic in design, featuring Felix Schlag's iconic bust of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with crisp, idealized facial detail and sweeping contours that define the design's artistry. The reverse showcases the Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate, with strong architectural lines, a central dome, and the well-known Monticello and 5 cents inscriptions beneath. Struck in the standard copper-nickel alloy, the coin measures 21.2 millimeters and weighs 5 grams. Yet what makes the coin particularly special is the difficulty of finding examples with fully struck steps on the Monticello, known as full steps FS. These FS coins, especially those showing 5 or 6 uninterrupted steps, are spectacularly rare for 1964 and are often the defining factor behind the highest auction records. Despite the tremendous mintages, over 1.8 billion combined for Philadelphia and Denver, Rarity emerges not from quantity but from quality. Minting pressure, worn dies, and production speed in 1964 were so extreme that sharply struck coins with pristine surfaces were almost never produced. As a result, 1964 nickels with full steps, exceptional luster, and minimal marks are ultra-scarce and highly coveted. Even more desirable are the rumored but extremely rare special mint set, style pieces, SMS-like strikes, believed to have been made experimentally and later released under mysterious circumstances. These special strike 1964 nickels feature satin or proof-like surfaces and razor-sharp detail. Only a handful are known, making them among the most valuable Jefferson nickels in existence. In today's market, the value of the 1964 Jefferson nickel varies dramatically depending on condition and special attributes. A typical circulated example remains worth face value, but high-grade uncirculated pieces graded MS-66, MS-67 have sold for hundreds of dollars due to their scarcity. The real market giants, however, are the full steps varieties. MS-66 FS examples often reach $3,000 to $7,000, while the finest known MS-67 FS specimens have achieved results above $10,000 at major auctions. The SMS-like experimental pieces, among the rarest U.S. nickels ever discovered, have surpassed $25,000 to $35,000, depending on visual quality, strike, and provenance. These values continue to rise as collectors aggressively compete for the finest survivors. For collectors seeking to acquire a valuable 1964 nickel, careful evaluation is essential. Look for sharp step detail on the Monticello, clean surfaces with minimal abrasions, and strong luster that indicates superior preservation. Because counterfeiting of full steps lines has become more common, professional certification by PCGS or NGC is highly recommended, especially for coins targeting the upper end of the market. Storage in airtight, inert holders protects the coin from environmental damage, while establishing relationships with reputable dealers, auction houses, or numismatic groups can dramatically increase the chances of locating high-grade or special strike examples. The market trajectory of the most elite 1964 Jefferson nickels has become especially intriguing in recent years as collectors increasingly recognize how elusive true full steps examples are. Unlike later decades, where improved striking technology produced more consistent quality, the mid-1960s were plagued by overworked dies and rushed production cycles. This means that every full step's 1964 nickel is essentially a statistical accident, an uncommon moment when die pressure, planchet quality, and striking alignment perfectly aligned. Because of this unpredictability, premium collectors continue to compete fiercely for the finest known pieces. Auction records over the past decade show a steady upward climb, reflecting a shift in the numismatic community toward appreciating modern-era rarities with the same seriousness previously reserved for early 20th century key dates. In many cases, 1964 FS nickels have outperformed older series in percentage value growth, signaling expanding demand from both traditional and new generation collectors. Another layer of fascination surrounding the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is the ongoing mystery and intrigue of the special SMS-like strikes. Unlike official special mint sets issued in later years, the 1964 experimental strikes were never meant for public distribution, leaving their origin shrouded in speculation. Some numismatists believe they were part of early test pieces produced as the mint transitioned toward SMS production methods, while others suggest they were created for internal evaluation only. Regardless of their purpose, their discovery, primarily in the estate of a former mint official, created one of the most exciting modern discoveries in American coinage. These enigmatic pieces display qualities normally associated with proof coins, such as reflective fields and sharply defined devices, yet also exhibit the softer frost and satin-like texture of SMS coins from 1965 to 1967. Their stylistic distinctiveness, combined with their extreme rarity, ensures that each specimen remains a cornerstone rarity that commands immense attention whenever one appears on the market. Collectors also value the 1964 Jefferson Nickel because it serves as a study piece that helps illustrate how minting practices, economic conditions, and collector habits shape the long-term scarcity of a modern coin. Although billions were produced, very few people at the time set aside pristine examples, largely because the nickel was not yet viewed as a collectible series of major importance. The combination of heavy circulation, weak strikes, and the absence of early interest means that the survival rate for premium examples is extraordinarily low today. For new collectors, the 1964 nickel offers a valuable lesson. High mintage does not always mean low value, and understanding condition rarity is essential to mastering numismatics. As a result, the coin appeals not only to investors seeking long-term appreciation, but also to students of coin history who appreciate the deeper story behind how rarity evolves. Its growing prestige further cements its position as one of the most important modern-era Jefferson nickels, ensuring its legacy among the most desirable high-grade American 5-cent pieces ever minted. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel stands as a powerful reminder of how rarity in numismatics often emerges not from low mintage, but from the scarcity of excellence. The coin's historical context, distinctive design features, and extremely limited supply of high-level examples make it a standout piece for both new and experienced collectors. Its strong and steadily rising market value, especially for full steps and SMS-like varieties, ensures that the 1964 nickel will remain a centerpiece of Jefferson nickel collecting and a long-term treasure for those fortunate enough to secure one. Its beauty, history, and investment potential combine to make it one of the most compelling coins of the modern era. Next up in the 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel, despite originating from a modern and high mintage era, has become an unexpected highlight in contemporary numismatics due to a handful of ultra-rare high-grade survivors and several unusual minting anomalies that have shocked the auction market. Collectors value this coin not simply because it is part of the long-running Monticello Jefferson Nickel series, but because superb gems from the late 1980s are extraordinarily difficult to locate. When found in pristine mint state, especially above MS-67, the 1989 D nickel becomes a true modern rarity, one that has attracted both seasoned collectors and investors seeking undervalued treasures with long-term potential. Its combination of a widely circulated issue and extremely scarce top-grade survivors gives it a surprising level of demand today. The 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel fits within a transitional period of U.S. coin production, during which the mint was modernizing equipment and adjusting to rising national coin demand. Minted at the Denver Mint, D-Mint mark, This coin was produced during a time when nickels were heavily used in American commerce, meaning that most examples experienced immediate circulation wear. While not tied to a major national event, the coin does represent the late Cold War era and stands as part of the continuous Jefferson Nickel series that has run since 1938. Though standard in purpose, the issue reflects the broader industrial and cultural shift of the late 20th century, when mass production overshadowed the careful quality typical of earlier decades, ironically making untouched high-grade survivors far rarer today. In terms of design, the 1989 D nickel retains the classic Monticello motif by Felix Schlag, a design cherished for its clean simplicity and timeless representation of American architecture. The obverse features a left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, his eye, cheekbone, and hair details forming some of the key grading focal points for collectors. The reverse showcases the Monticello building with inscriptions such as E Pluribus Unum and Monticello, along with the denomination and country. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, weighs 5 grams, and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter. What makes this issue particularly special is the difficulty in finding sharply struck examples with clean steps on the Monticello, especially the coveted full steps, FS, designation, which drastically increases its desirability and market value. The rarity factor of the 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel stems not from low mintage, but from condition scarcity. Over 570 million were struck, yet almost all went straight into circulation. Only a minuscule percentage survived in pristine mint state, and among those, full steps examples remain exceptionally elusive. Collectors also prize rare die varieties such as misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and the occasional double die, though these are not common. The most valuable pieces are those graded MS-67 to MS-68 with full steps, which represent the absolute top of the surviving population. Because late 1980s nickels were not widely saved at the time of issue, high-end examples have become significantly rarer than their mintage would suggest. The 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel demonstrates how modern-era coins can command remarkable prices under the right conditions. Typical circulated examples hold only face value, but high-end, third-party graded coins sell for dramatically more. A standard MS-65 may sell for $20 to $40, while an MS-66 can reach $50 to $120 depending on eye appeal. The true standouts, however, are the full steps FS specimens. MS-67 FS coins can command $700 to $1,200, while the extremely rare MS-68 FS examples, nearly impossible to find, have been known to reach $3,000 to $6,000 in private sales and specialized auctions. Error versions or spectacular die varieties can surpass even these figures depending on rarity and collector interest. For collectors seeking this prized modern rarity, a few important strategies can help ensure success. First, focus heavily on strike quality. Look for sharp detail in Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps, as these features separate ordinary mint state examples from premium ones. Certification by reputable grading services such as PeaceGS or NGC is absolutely essential for higher value coins, especially full steps designations. Storage should prioritize climate-controlled environments, using archival quality holders to protect the nickel's sensitive surfaces. Acquisitions should be made through trusted numismatic dealers, major auction houses, or long-standing collector communities where authenticity and consistent grading standards are prioritized. The 1989 D. Jefferson Nickel has gained recognition as an important benchmark coin for collectors who specialize in late 20th century U.S. coinage. This era is notorious for inconsistent striking quality and heavy circulation patterns, making well-preserved examples extremely challenging to locate. As a result, the 1989 D has become a cornerstone for advanced registry set builders competing for the finest known Jefferson Nickel collections. Its reputation is strengthened by the fact that Denver-produced nickels of the late 1980s often exhibit strike softness, die erosion, and surface issues, meaning that finding a crisp, well-struck piece with strong luster is far rarer than the massive mintage might imply. This combination of modern appeal and genuine difficulty elevates the coin's status among serious numismatists. A key reason this coin continues to gain momentum in the marketplace is its evolving role in registry competition and the growing interest in modern-era full steps nickels. As more collectors aim to complete top-tier sets, demand for high-grade 1989 D examples has outpaced supply. With only a handful certified in the top grades, especially MS67FS, and almost no MS68FS survivors, each new auction appearance generates significant interest. This heightened demand has led to upward price pressure, particularly for coins boasting brilliant luster, flawless surfaces, and superior step detail. Collectors have begun to recognize that ultramodern rarities can outperform older key dates in terms of long-term appreciation, and the 1989 D nickel is a strong example of this trend that the rarity of superb 1989 D examples has made raw submissions increasingly scarce, as most potential high-end pieces have already been evaluated by grading services. This means collectors seeking an upgrade must often rely on secondary market sources, where competition is stronger and supply is extremely limited. Coins that combine perfect strike, eye appeal, and the elusive full steps designation are considered trophy pieces in the Jefferson Nickel field. Many high-end collectors hold their top-graded nickels long-term, reducing turnover and making these pieces even harder to acquire. This hoarding effect contributes significantly to the sustained and growing value of the finest examples. The investment potential of the 1989 D Jefferson Nickel remains promising, particularly for those who focus on modern conditional rarities. As more collectors recognize the difficulty of finding flawless survivors from the late 1980s, demand is expected to continue increasing. Additionally, the broader numismatic community has become more open to valuing modern coins not merely by age, but by actual population scarcity in top grades. This shift has allowed coins like the 1989 D nickel to rise in prominence. Its blend of historical context, design significance, and extreme grade rarity positions it as a standout among modern U.S. coin issues. For collectors and investors alike, this coin represents one of the strongest examples of how modern numismatics can deliver both beauty and substantial long-term value. The 1989 D Jefferson Nickel stands as a remarkable example of how modern U.S. coinage can achieve tremendous collectible and monetary value due to condition rarity, elegant design, and the historical legacy of the Jefferson Nickel series. While millions were minted, only a handful of pristine full-step survivors exist today, elevating them to elite status in modern numismatics. For collectors, this coin offers an appealing intersection of history, strike quality, and investment potential, making it one of the most desirable Jefferson Nickels from the late 20th century. As demand continues to grow for high-grade modern coins, the finest known 1989 D specimens are likely to appreciate even further in the years ahead. Next up in the 1981, P issue stands out as one of the most intriguing and unexpectedly valuable coins for dedicated collectors. Although it was produced during a period of heavy circulation mintages, a remarkably small number of high-grade survivors, combined with elusive strike anomalies, have elevated this coin into the realm of modern-era rarities. The 1981 P. Jefferson Nickel has become highly sought after for its scarcity in top certified grades, especially those achieving superb gem status, full steps designation, or displaying exceptional mint luster. Its reputation has steadily grown in the numismatic community because collectors recognize that, despite its common appearance in everyday pocket change, finding an elite specimen with pristine surfaces and razor-sharp strike is extraordinarily difficult. These qualities have made it one of the most desirable late 20th century nickels for investors and specialists alike. The year 1981 marked the final stretch before America's economic transition into the early electronic era minting improvements of the mid-1980s. The Philadelphia Mint was producing vast quantities of circulating coinage, and Jefferson Nickels were a crucial part of everyday commerce. Though not connected to a national anniversary or commemorative issue, the 1981 P. Nickel represents the tail end of traditional die engraving methods before the U.S. Mint adopted more refined machining standards. This subtle transitional period contributes to the fascination of collectors who value coins from years when die wear, hand polish marks, and early strikes varied widely. While the design honored Thomas Jefferson and his iconic Monticello home, as it had since 1938, the coins of this year often suffered from weak strikes, making sharply defined examples from 1981 P particularly noteworthy and historically meaningful. The 1981 P. Jefferson Nickel features the classic Felix Schlag design, with a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the highly recognizable Monticello mansion on the reverse. The coin is struck from a copper-nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel, measuring 21.2 millimeters and weighing 5 grams, specifications that have remained standard for decades. What makes the 1981 P-issue special, however, is how seldom the design's details appear crisp and complete in circulation. The obverse often shows soft hair and cheek features, while the reverse frequently lacks sharpness in the steps of Monticello. Coins that manage to display bold peripheral lettering, strong central details, and fully separated steps, earning the coveted full steps (FS) designation, are exceptionally rare. In high-grade uncirculated condition, the coin exhibits a pleasing metallic sheen and sometimes displays subtle satiny or semi-proof-like fields, which dramatically enhance its collector appearance. The 1981 P-nickel is surprisingly scarce in the highest collectible grades. Strike weakness, die overuse, bag marks, and poor preservation have resulted in very few examples that achieve MS66 or MS67, and almost none that meet the full steps criteria. Numismatic records consistently show that most surviving pieces fall into lower circulated categories, and even uncirculated rolls rarely contain premium examples. FS coins from 1981 P are among the most difficult of the entire late 1970s and early 1980s Jefferson series, with population reports reflecting only a handful certified at the MS66 FS level. This scarcity is the primary force behind the coin's elevated market value and its reputation as one of the modern series' toughest keys in high-end condition. The value of a 1981 P Jefferson Nickel depends almost entirely on condition, strike, and certification. Common circulated examples are worth face value, but high-grade pieces show dramatic price increases. Standard mint state examples in MS64, MS65 typically sell for $10 to $40, depending on eye appeal. However, the true rarity emerges in MS66 and higher, where prices can climb to $150 to $350, and even more if the coin shows exceptional strike quality. Coins designated full steps are the true stars of the market. Certified MS65 FS pieces can command $800 to $1,500, while the extraordinarily rare MS66 FS examples have reached $4,000 to $7,500 in private sales and select auctions. Their scarcity ensures steady appreciation, especially as collectors increasingly pursue high-end modern American coinage. The combination of low population numbers and growing demand continues to push values upward each year. Collectors seeking a superior 1981 P nickel should prioritize crisp detail, clean fields, and strong strike quality. Using a 10 times loop to examine the steps of Monticello is essential, as even minor bridging or weakness disqualifies a coin from full steps classification. Because counterfeiting of FS designations is rare, but not impossible, professional certification from PCGS or NGC is strongly recommended, especially for high-value examples. When storing these coins, use acid-free holders, inert flips, or airtight capsules to prevent toning and surface spotting. Searching original bank-wrapped rolls can sometimes yield attractive mint-state pieces, though FS examples remain extremely unlikely. Reputable auction houses, established online marketplaces, and specialized Jefferson Nickel collector groups are among the best places to secure authentic high-grade pieces. That the 1981 P nickel's high value is the extraordinary difficulty of achieving a full steps designation. During this period, the Philadelphia Mint routinely employed dies well beyond their optimal lifespan, leading to worn strike hubs, flattened architectural details, and inconsistent metal flow. As a result, Monticello's steps, the central diagnostic feature of the reverse, almost always appear mushy, bridged, or incomplete. Even coins that would otherwise qualify as gem uncirculated often fall short of the stringent FS requirements. This makes the few surviving examples with 4 or 5 fully separated steps extremely scarce, and the rarity is amplified by the fact that collectors in the early 1980s did not actively save or examine coins for high-end strike characteristics. This historical lack of interest created a permanent scarcity that can never be corrected, which is why the FS version commands such a premium today. The 1981 P nickel's desirability is strongly influenced by its overall eye appeal, an area where most surviving examples struggle. Coins of this year often display dull, satiny surfaces rather than vibrant luster, and it is common to encounter heavy contact marks due to mass bagging and transport procedures. High-end specimens with smooth, minimally marked fields, strong cartwheel luster, and no distracting abrasions are rare in any traditional roll or collection. Some pieces exhibit attractive peripheral toning in shades of gold or pale blue, which further enhances their desirability among collectors of modern toners. Because the Jefferson Nickel series is heavily condition-sensitive, appeal can create dramatic price swings. A well-struck MS-66 with outstanding luster can achieve multiples of the value of a duller or more heavily marked example graded at the same level, demonstrating how visual quality plays a central role in market demand. Current third-party grading population reports also play a significant role in shaping the market perception of the 1981 P nickel. Both PCGS and NGC show relatively large numbers of submissions at lower mint state levels, yet extremely limited populations at MS-66 and virtually non-existent totals at the MS-67 and FS designations. Furthermore, modern grading standards have become increasingly strict, meaning coins certified a decade ago might not achieve the same grade under today's criteria. This trend has created a new wave of resubmissions as collectors attempt to cross coins between services or upgrade their existing examples. Each incremental tightening of grading standards enhances the perceived rarity of the highest-tier pieces. With population numbers remaining consistently low, there is a growing belief within the numismatic community that the true number of gem examples may be permanently finite, supporting rising values and reinforcing the 1981 PS reputation as one of the toughest sleepers of the Jefferson series. The long-term outlook for the 1981 P Jefferson Nickel remains highly favorable, particularly as modern series collecting continues to expand. Increasing numbers of collectors are now building high-grade registry sets, and the scarcity of premium 1981 P nickels makes the date one of the most influential bottlenecks for anyone striving for top rankings. As registry competition intensifies, demand for superb specimens, especially full steps coins, naturally increases, pushing prices higher over time. Additionally, modern-era numismatics has gained legitimacy among investors who once focused exclusively on early 20th century or silver-based coinage. This shift has brought new attention to overlooked rarities like the 1981 P, whose population, quality, and scarcity metrics suggest long-term value stability. For collectors seeking a coin with strong potential for future appreciation, the 1981 P Jefferson Nickel stands out as a strategic acquisition, combining historical interest, true rarity in high grade, and growing market recognition. Next up in the 1964 United States Jefferson Nickel holds a special place in American numismatics, particularly among collectors who value rare and historically significant coins. While the standard Jefferson Nickel series is widely collected, the ultra-rare Old and Dirty variety of the 1964 issue has become highly sought due to its exceptional scarcity and distinct characteristics. Unlike typical circulated coins, this version displays notable wear discoloration or patina that paradoxically adds to its collectible allure. Numismatists prize such coins not only for their historical connections, but also for their uniqueness within the Jefferson Nickel lineage, making them coveted additions to specialized collections. Today, these coins command premium prices, particularly when authenticated and certified by reputable grading services. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel was minted during a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. It marked the final year before the transition from the earlier war nickels era and the rise of more modern production techniques. The coin's design, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Monticello home on the reverse, continued a tradition initiated in 1938, celebrating Jefferson's legacy as a founding father and the third president of the United States. Mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco produced these nickels, though most circulated widely due to the economic growth and coin shortages of the 1960s. The ultra-rare 1964 Old and Dirty variety is historically significant because it reflects the survival of a coin that has endured decades of circulation and environmental exposure, factors that contribute to its mystique and appeal among collectors. This particular Jefferson Nickel is distinguished by both subtle and pronounced features. On the obverse, The left-facing portrait of Jefferson exhibits, where that softens the finer details of his hair and facial contours, while the reverse retains the Monticello depiction, often showing uneven toning or distinctive oxidation. The coin is composed primarily of a copper-nickel alloy, weighs approximately 5 grams, and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, consistent with other nickels of the era. What makes the old and dirty variant especially notable is the combination of natural toning, surface marks, and circulation, where that collectively tell a story of its journey through decades of use. This aesthetic imperfection, in high-grade forms, is paradoxically a hallmark of rarity, giving the coin an authentic, almost artifact-like presence. The scarcity of the 1964 old and dirty Jefferson nickel is influenced by several factors. First, the coin's mintage, though high in absolute terms, rarely produce specimens that survive with such distinctive aged characteristics while remaining intact. Second, most 1964 nickels were either heavily circulated or melted down, leaving only a small number that exhibit the unique or patterns defining this variety. Condition plays a critical role in its desirability. Coins retaining clear Monticello outlines, discernible lettering, and balanced toning fetch the highest premiums. Collectors actively seek coins with these traits, as the combination of rarity, condition, and historical patina drives demand in the numismatic market. Market values for the 1964 old and dirty Jefferson nickel vary depending on condition and provenance. Lower-grade circulated examples can range from $50 to $150, while well-preserved coins exhibiting the characteristic old and dirty appearance can reach $500 or more, particularly if authenticated by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Auction records and private sales indicate that truly exceptional specimens, those with eye appeal, rare toning, or documented history, can command even higher prices. The coin's value is largely driven by scarcity, historical resonance, and collector enthusiasm for Jefferson nickels that stand out from typical circulated examples. For collectors seeking this ultra-rare nickel, several strategies enhance the likelihood of acquiring high-quality examples. First, prioritizing coins that have been certified by trusted grading services ensures authenticity and provides a standardized assessment of condition. Second, careful examination for toning patterns, clear Monticello details, and the presence of distinguishing where marks is essential. Collectors should also seek reputable dealers, attend specialized coin shows, and participate in numismatic forums to discover hidden gems. Proper storage, using inert holders or capsules, and avoidance of chemical cleaning preserves both the coin's aesthetic and market value, allowing collectors to enjoy the historical and monetary benefits of this unique piece. Though the 1964 Jefferson nickel was produced in large numbers, subtle minting variations and anomalies make certain specimens significantly more desirable. Some coins exhibit doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks that were unintentional byproducts of the minting process. The old and dirty variety often accentuates these features because circulation and environmental effects can highlight anomalies that are barely noticeable on uncirculated coins. Collectors frequently search for these nuances, as a coin that combines rarity, wear, and a detectable minting anomaly can dramatically increase its value. Even minor differences in the depth of the Monticello engraving or the sharpness of Jefferson's profile can differentiate a typical 1964 nickel from a truly collectible specimen. Provenance plays a subtle but important role in the appeal of ultra-rare coins like the 1964 Jefferson nickel. Coins with documented ownership histories, particularly those that have passed through notable collections or appeared in historic auctions, often command higher prices. The old and dirty nickname itself suggests a storied past. These coins may have circulated in local commerce, passed through countless hands, and survived decades of handling, giving them an almost tangible connection to everyday American life in the 1960s. Collectors value this narrative as much as the coin's physical characteristics, and well-documented provenance can sometimes double a coin's market value compared to an otherwise similar example lacking historical context. The 1964 ultra-rare Jefferson nickel represents both stability and potential for appreciation. Unlike mass-produced coins whose market values fluctuate modestly, truly rare varieties with certified condition and distinctive traits tend to maintain or grow in value over time. Market trends indicate that demand for mid-20th century coins with unique wear patterns and historical significance is strong, particularly among Jefferson Nickel enthusiasts and collectors of American small change. Investors often view the old and dirty coin as a tangible asset that combines aesthetic charm with scarcity-driven financial upside, making it a compelling addition to both numismatic and alternative investment portfolios. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel serves as an educational artifact, providing insight into mid-20th century minting practices, metallurgy, and American culture. Coins like this allow collectors to study how circulation, environmental factors, and historical events impact physical objects over time. The old and dirty condition is a visible record of decades of real-world use, from pocket change in local markets to handling in banks and stores, offering a tactile connection to the era. For educators, historians, and collectors alike, the coin embodies lessons in preservation, design, and cultural history, making it far more than a mere medium of exchange. It is a piece of Americana that bridges generations of numismatists. The 1964 ultra-rare, old and dirty, Jefferson Nickel exemplifies the intersection of history, artistry, and investment potential in American coinage. Its worn but evocative appearance, combined with limited availability, makes it a prized item for both novice and seasoned collectors. Beyond its market value, the coin serves as a tangible link to the mid-20th century, commemorating Thomas Jefferson and the enduring design of the Monticello Nickel series. For enthusiasts, owning this coin offers not just a collectible, but a piece of living history, a testament to the enduring appeal of U.S. numismatics and a smart addition to any specialized Jefferson Nickel collection.